gentlemen, it is time for tonight's feature, and Cafe Gallery is proud to present Mysticism as Buddha 309, and Science as our host Janet Kuypers, and that really is all I need to say about it.
Like a scientist.
And away they go.
Welcome to the second Mysticism versus Science show. It'll be a little bit different than the first one because I'm not going to be talking so much about mysticism tonight as I am about other things. Tonight I'm going to start the show with my greatest hit. Okay. My greatest hit has a very long preface, which is good because we have more time tonight, so I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. You ever been sitting at a bar or a cafe and you're up at the counter and it's the middle of the afternoon, you're writing down a notebook or out an envelope or a back of a $20 bill, whatever happens to be handy at the time. And somebody walks in and they sit right down next to you. It's an empty place, they sit down right next to you. And think that because they share the same space and time as you do, that you're best friends and they're allowed to talk to you. Right? And they go on and on about their day, and finally they stop and they ask the question, so, how are you doing? And this is my prepared response to the question. So, how are you doing? I want to be a rock! Big old igneous line in the sun doing nothing all day rock. I'm sitting here listening to you talk about how much your life, job, relationship, insert whiny ass problem here sucks. I want to be a stone deaf, so listening to you isn't even an afterthought. And my only worries are erosion and that kid that likes to throw me at cars and cops and old ladies. I really think I want to be a rock. I want to be used in hopscotch and skipped across puddles. Hanging around downtown, staring at all the brick buildings, thinking there before the grace of God go I, because they sold out to the man. I really think I want to be a rock because nobody ever expects anything of you but your innate rockness. Mountain to hill, hill to boulder, boulder to stone, stone to pebble, pebble to sand. I want to be a rock, mostly, so I don't have to die.
Okay, so his mysticism half is, well, his just awesome stuff. And,
Scientific, too.
but yeah, because you have to talk about the elements that are in the stone. But anyway, because but for anybody who doesn't know, I've decided to do a poem for every element in the periodic table, which is actually quite challenging, especially when it's like, how do I say yttrium as Y-T-T, you know, or...
She's doing it for all the elements except for cesium because nobody likes cesium.
No, I'll do it eventually. I'm sure I'll have to come up with something because it's gonna get done. I don't know how it's
There
gonna.
will be no cesium poem.
But nobody's having seizures this year night for cesium poems. But anyway, the music I will have music in the background. This is just because I'm such a star, you shouldn't see my eyes and I won't actually make eye contact with you. I don't know. But I will have music behind all of these. All of them will be by the Howe Man of South Africa, but this first one will be music from Mozart, from the Dissonant, which will be fitting because this poem, this first one, is number 51 in the periodic table, and it is Antimony. Nice and quiet. It's actually quite unremarkable. It doesn't seem to have much use. But antimony seemed to cause a long and bitter war in the 1600s between France and Germany. Wars are started over land, religion, love, or money. But the element antimony? Well, Doctors in that age believed in the medicinal value of antimony, and their war was a war of the pen, with opposing views on antimony's medicinal value. The two sides took up literary arms, writing scathing reports in the medical journals with the vitriol of a Jerry Springer show where the bodyguards couldn't even control the feud. And the thing is, antimony is actually toxic. But still, Greek physicians recommended antimony for skin complaints in the 1st century AD. And since that age, many have still championed antimony for medicinal purposes. In fact, in Germany, a man, under the false name of the 15th century monk named Basil Valentine, he wrote an entire book about antimony's remedies, published in 1604. And he claimed that alchemy could free antimony of its toxicity. Because, you know, just because it makes you vomit, that just means it's helping your body remove all the toxins that ail you. The Egyptians even used antimony as a form of mascara. They called this toxic antimony sulfide stibnite a black eye powder called cool. Later, Al-Qaeda chemists called this substance Al-Cool, which came to be a term to mean any powder, which led to a 1600 Swiss alchemist to call a distilled extract of wine Al-Cool Vini, which shows the trail from toxic eye makeup to intoxicating alcohol. That's good. But this fondness for antimony lasted through the centuries, as doctors still prescribed its use through the 1700s, and it was even suggested that antimony remedies may have been what actually killed Mozart. Maybe they caught on to antimony by the next century, because it then became the element of choice for murderers looking to cause a slow, painful death to their victims. We use antimony now only in alloys for batteries or maybe to harden lead. But it's strange that antimony can have such a violent history, dipping its hand into everything from makeup to medicines to later naming the alcohol to poisoning people. I guess then people just who don't know all of the chemical conditions, with that, antimony can lead a colorful history indeed.
Did you notice how that through that whole poem about that element she dropped the word alchemy? Alchemy, that's a mysticism thing. Belongs on my side of the table. Woohoo! And so, for revenge, I will invoke the name of the greatest wizard of the 20th century, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest wizard of the 20th century was Albert Einstein.
He really believed in the creativity of things.
Or Thomas Dolby.
Yeah.
Right? This is what Einstein taught me about magic. Einstein told me that imagination is stronger than knowledge. I watched him cry as he split the atom, as he watched the bomb fall on Hiroshima. Dreams are best served without shadow-painted windows. Too many hours with flame and incantation, wasting faith, trying to turn lead into gold, asking the universe for 3 wishes and a handshake like a genie from the lamp, has hardened our faith, turned our stomachs, twisted our brains like 24-hour news coverage. I believe that history is more potent when it's simmered in a touch of myth. Einstein can't raise the dead. Never forgave himself. Is it possible to take experience, learn from it, and hope we never do it again? There can be no laughter if we wallow in grief, and the only cure for grief is laughter. I have to believe in magic. I have to believe that somewhere, someone is willing to choose love over gold, and in the end, love is all you take with you. It is stronger than death. And I pray that Einstein died a rich man.
I already read Einsteinium, but I can't do that one. This one, as I said, the remainder of the songs you're going to hear from the evening is music from the Howman of South Africa. If I bother to look at this thing, I'll tell you what the track was titled. It's like At Home at Last or something like that. But if you'd like to know more about the Howman of South Africa, howmanworld.com. Anyway, this is title music. But this is number 65 in the periodic table. This is terbium. Looking for better sound remains at the top of the list. Having better stereo speakers for all group parties, meetings, or settings. Having a portable sound system anyone can take with them. Even using sound while in the car to reduce traffic noise, hear better music, or talk hands-free on your smartphone. The possibilities seem endless, but stereo speakers take up space. So we need to use science and technology to even help us meet our audio needs. Companies create better and better sound systems. Earbuds for iPods have grown smaller and smaller, even with noise-canceling technology. There has to be a way to use the world around us to get us exactly what we have decided we need. So, after just a little research, I discovered an element twice as common as silver on this planet, and when it is mixed into a compound, terbium can help create a sound bug speaker that can turn any flat surface into a flat panel speaker. Any flat surface, like an office window or your dining room table at home. You see, the terbium-filled sound bug can be plugged into a headphone socket and then suctioned to any flat surface, literally turning that surface into a speaker. Now, this terbium sound bug is only the size of a computer mouse, and retailing at less than $50. They're targeting the youth market, but a wide range of technology. You're just going to love this little gadget that can repurpose everyday flat surfaces into speakers for all sorts of sound needs. Now, the thicker the flat material surface, the better the sound quality of the terbium-laced sound bug speaker. And yeah, the resonance of the speaker material, wood, glass, metal, can affect the final sound quality, but in theory, you could daisy chain a few of these terbium sound bugs together to excite multiple electrical currents of multiple players to excite the mock speakers to bring every party to life in richer stereo. Now, I know that terbium is like a Swiss Army knife for cancer diagnoses, and I know its green luminescence gives color enrichment to TVs, and it's even used in fluorescent lamps or lasers or semiconductor devices. But this whole using what we have to multi-purpose what we have idea is really beginning to stick with me. Kind of like the suction from a terbium sound bug. But wait a minute, this audio technology can work with magnetostriction, like in a car instead of in a business meeting or a party. Because in a car, a terbium sound bug could create a noise-insulating window system, blocking out all the excessive sounds of traffic. And you know how I hate the sounds of congested traffic. But the business worker in a car, with that, the mobile phone version of the terbium sound bug could be struck to the car windshield and allow hands-free, headset-free talking. Well, that might cost a little more than the indoors terbium sound bug, but no price is too high to stop people from staring at their phones while driving, right? So, yeah, although it is more common on Earth than silver, terbium may still be hard to get sometimes. But if we can find this many uses for this element, I'm sure its demand will increase, because pretty soon, terbium will be desired more than anything. Thanks.
I'm gonna call it Fred. She stares at the ceiling wishing for wings and to fly into colors. Mommy says your face will freeze that way. Don't make me come back there. Act like a lady. She chats on the invisible phone to children on ledges of buildings, inviting them to imaginary tea parties. Teacher says, take your nap. Bananas are yellow. Raise your hand. She writes on the walls in red magic marker, things with wings and broken strings. Fred was short.
I don't know which ones are shorter, but I don't know if this one is. This is number 41 in the periodic table. This is Niobium. See, I have to get my throat clear for Niobium. This is Niobium. Niobium's name is derived from Greek mythology, from the woman Niobe, daughter of Tantalus. And yes, there's an element tantalum, and he's directly below in the periodic table, and it's hard to tell them apart sometimes. But in mythology, after Niobe had more children, 7 sons and 7 daughters, and because Niobe felt she had a lot more prominent stature, she asked, "My father was a guest at the table of the gods. My husband built and rules this city. I have 7 sons and 7 daughters worthy of pride. You revere gods and goddesses you cannot even see, but aren't I worthy of worship as a goddess?" Well, sounding a bit too haughty to everyone in town, the god Artemis and her twin sister Apollo used arrows for their vengeance. Artemis killed Niobe's daughters. Apollo killed Niobe's sons. I don't know if any were spared, but according to mythology, when Niobe's husband saw their dead sons, he killed himself in grief and despair. After losing everything, Niobe fled to Mount Sibylus. As she wept, she was turned into stone. And to this day, there is a natural rock formation there that resembles a woman's face, and rainwater pours through the porous limestone. They call this the Weeping Rock in honor of Niobe. And sure, niobium is in chemicals that are water soluble, and niobium is used in superconducting magnets, probably like how Niobe had so many children and how everyone was drawn to her beautiful face, as she was always resplendently adorned in gold and jewels. Though I doubt she had metal jewelry made out of niobium, even though it turns to a beautiful blue whenever it's exposed to air. Niobium is mixed with steel to make it stronger. Since the niobium in metal also is more resistant to heat, it can be used in anything from jet engines to liquid rock thrusters for outer space. And the funny twist? Since Apollo killed Niobe's sons, niobium is even in the main engine of the Apollo lunar modules. You know, niobium is often used in commemorative coins with gold and silver. So, who knows? Maybe Niobe did have niobium in her jewelry, as everyone admired her beauty, until she lost it all.
What I'm basing this poem on off of the fact is that she has the words water soluble in that poem. It's the only connection. Because can anybody tell me how they kill witches?
Throw water on them.
Well, they do throw water on them.
Throw them in the water.
But there was a
Because if you drop them into water, if they float, then they're right. Wait, what is the thing for Monty Python?
if they weigh the same as a duck.
Yes.
You're innocent if Okay, drown.
Right? They put them in a drowning machine. Now, what you don't know is that these drowning machines, they tie rocks to them so that when they dunk them, they can't really swim out. Right? And this is about the drowning of witches. It's only water. In silence, we named constellations, staring at stars. We can imagine ourselves weightless, the opposite of stone. Between earth and heaven, on our backs we would float. If you listen, everything talks. Even trees have secrets. Some of them can heal, and some can hurt. It only hurts if you're innocent when you hit the water. Not much more pleasant if you choose to reveal your secrets. There is no appeal, divine intervention, or lucky stars. You can drown or you can float. Try not to think or breathe. Become hard like the stone. Hearts and minds turn to stone, their intention to hurt, and part of the crowd hopes that you float. Hopes that you rise to the surface of the water, prays you kissed the devil or wished on stars. They need to kill you twice for keeping these secrets. They aren't really secrets, unwritten wisdom not yet set in stone. The changes of the seasons and movement of the stars, it was never intended to frighten or hurt. There was no blasphemy. We never claimed to walk on water. A weighty world rested on her shoulders. You expect her to float. You want to float, but these are deeply held family secrets. How to survive in the water, to be released from the stone, how to take away the hurt. It is written by the ancients in the stars. To reach for the stars, shut out my mind, the voices, the world, and float out here where nothing hurts. I pray you keep our secrets. I am one with this stone. I am one with this water. I cannot be hurt among these stars. It was only water, and I float. I am the silence of secrets, and immortal as stone. And for those of you who are form poetry fans and didn't catch it, that was a sestina.
I like it anyway.
Thanks, Chris.
My hair is such a mess.
Right,
This,
Jackie out. Punk rock Jackie out. Doing a show with punk rock Jackie out.
that's me.
Sorry.
Whoops, what have I done with my Alchemy? This is a combination of two elements that I talk about. Arsenic 33 and right next to it selenium 34. This is a poem called Old Star, New Elemental Tricks. When the Big Bang first exploded, the only elements it could muster were hydrogen and helium with a smidge of lithium and boron. Higher elements were only created after the creation of stars. But scientists have now discovered that in an ancient star, in a faint stellar halo surrounding the Milky Way, astronomers have detected the presence of arsenic and selenium. Now, I've only known arsenic as being highly toxic, and scientists pulling phosphorus from the sextet of life well down at the Arctic-rich Mono Lake to fill DNA with arsenic. And selenium is used for horses, but it can kill a person if ingested regularly, even leaving a garlic taste when given to victims. And I like the taste of garlic. But these two elements, sitting right next to each other on the periodic table, transition from light to heavy elements, and have never been found in any old stars until now. You see, stars like our sun usually make the lighter elements, like up to oxygen, and heavier stars can make elements as high in the periodic table as iron. But elements heavier than that, like arsenic or selenium, have to be made by neutron capture nucleosynthesis. So, thanks to the nuclear reaction from inside of the heaviest of stars, scientists found arsenic and selenium in a 12 billion year old halo star. And they say that the universe is like 13.77 billion years old. So when I'm talking old star remnants, I'm talking infancy of the universe stars. And we thought we were the only ones who knew how to utilize these poisonous elements here on Earth. And now we see that these stars have been in ancient history all throughout the universe. They were creating this stuff for eons. So they've discovered quite a new trick from this old star, which means we now know how to look for elements in other stars and maybe explain why some elements appear on Earth. 'Cause it's all science. And we can explain away the mysteries of what's good and bad here on planet Earth and trace it all the way back to the toddler years of this entire universe. Thank you.
I know this poem is 4 epigraphs and a poem I've written about 100 times before. It's got 4 epigraphs. Don't come back to me later and say, hey Dave, that poem's got 4 epigraphs. I just told you. It's in the title. It has 4 epigraphs. Right? Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage. Princes to act and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. William Shakespeare, Henry V. A cup of dragon's breath, a wisp of the fear of night, a dewdrop touched by all the colors of the rainbow. Magic, Rick Davis. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Joni Mitchell. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Harry Belafonte. Old man writes with finger in dust, picks up dandelion, wheels turn, wisdom lost, magic fades, no one beats the drum, no one makes it rain, we have forgotten. We are the cosmos. We look for miracles to tame muses of fire as summer wind caresses the tips of our ears. The rain of spring falls upon our gray faces, and we don't believe in magic. We are star stuff. The universe is made of clay, fingers, and dust, water and fire, and one long song by an orchestra of different drummers. We have forgotten how to breathe, how to beat the drum, how to make it rain. We are stardust, the clapping of hands, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, faith, love, magic. Old man writes with finger in dust, blows the seed from a dandelion, watches them fly away.
This is number 38 in the periodic table. This is strontium. People seem to think that they need to eat a ton of red meat in order to be strong. They think eating slaughtered animals is the only way a human being is capable of getting themselves protein. And I know it might be a tightrope walk to get what you need, but strontium, I know how you can turn a flame into a Satan red, but that means it would use you in red flares or even in red fireworks. I know how a part of you can be radioactive, like when the Chernobyl explosion threw strontium-90 into the air, but yeah, we've learned it can use that strontium-90 in cancer therapy. And since strontium can get into your bones, since it's similar to calcium, salt strontium granulate treats osteoarthritis. But the thing is, plants are higher in strontium than meat, and because it's like calcium, it stays in our bones. Because when we tested ancient bones, Austrian researchers suggested that Roman gladiators were vegetarians. Actually, they ate mostly barley, beans, and dried fruit. So yeah, the strong, ruthless Roman gladiators, the confident, self-assured Roman gladiators, were vegetarians. Sorry, but I've heard of how run-down firemen started feeling better after they cut out meat. Metaphorically, I mean. They didn't actually cut any meat. No animals were harmed in the experiment in making people healthier. But because if just the right amount of strontium can help your bones, and if it's more common in plants than animals, maybe people can realize that they don't need to eat a ton of red meat in order to be strong, because in a plant-based diet, a little strontium can go a long way. Thank you. I should probably say sorry for that if people have an issue with that, because you can have the meat, I guess, but that happens.
Well, the emperor of Rome, Augustus Caesar, was a vegetarian, and he only ate fruits and vegetables picked by his own hand out of his garden. Of course, his wife killed him by poisoning the figs while they were still on the tree.
My engineer was like, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know, what do you say?
I don't know if this poem's related or not. I wrote it this morning. It's right. It's brand new.
Right.
Yesterday, she stood on the moon, breathing the toxic atmosphere of this recurring dream. Soon, she will dance alone to the emaciated rhythm of a lost lunar waltz. Today, she wakes up on an imitation leather couch, worries about the time, rides in cars and buses and elevators, wonders if there is enough arsenic in the world, and the stomach pit freefall is the love child of murder and vertigo. Gravity has abandoned. Tomorrow, she will throw the television out the window, pour bleach on her phone, sugar in her gas tank, disconnect the wires, close her eyes, cry and sleep in the bathtub. When they find her dancing barefoot, whistling old Van Morrison songs and smiling, she will whisper, "I am finally home."
This is my last piece I have for this evening.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you had one more.
No, you have 6, and this is my 6th one.
Wow.
Why? Are you going to finish that?
Well, I could. I've got one more.
Well, I thought we had 6 above.
And I just brought everything I had and kept going.
But I said, oh, I better come up with a 6th one. We have to have 6 ones.
Mysticism gets the last.
Because, 6 something.
Yeah,
This,
it's mystical. 3 6s.
isn't it though?
Oh, yeah.
This is
664, neighbor of the beast.
this is number 52 in the periodic table. And I feel bad because I talked about this with Esteban, that I would like him to hear this, but hopefully he'll hear this video or something.
Yeah, we're live now, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're recording it. I don't have it up on internet immediately, but it will be there.
Yeah, you're pretty quick.
Well, I would, except I'm going to be out of town for the next 5 days. But after that, it'll be out because I had to be out of town. But it will be out because, yay, Cafe Gallery. It'll be out. I'll be the best I can. But anyway, this is number 52. Thank you. This is Tellurium. When a couple is meant to be together, but at their core, they're nothing alike. You can see them come together almost violently before their anger pushes them away from each other, until they do it again and again and again. It's like they can't stop. They can't help it. They rush to each other in a mad embrace. They feel intense attraction that they can't escape, till they know, despite their lust, they hate each other so, and they'll do everything they can to break free. It's a sick cycle they're stuck in. This coming together, then rushing apart. There's electricity in the air. I hear the buzz whenever I walk by that street corner and see all those electrical wires crossing in every direction. I can hear the loose electricity jumping into the air. Do you know why electric wires are spaced really far apart when they're up high on poles like that? Well, that's because those tellurium metal wires up high in the air like that aren't even insulated, and they have a strong magnetic field with all that electricity coursing through them. If wires were too close to each other while they were up in the air like that, the wires would swing toward each other because of the insanely strong magnetic attraction. And if they were being drawn together while that was happening, an arc might actually form between the wires, destroying them almost instantly. But then again, magnetism in the wires switches polarity 120 times every second because of electricity's 60 Hz frequency in America. That would make those wires want to repel each other as often as they were magnetically drawn to each other. So yes, for 120 times every second, those wires would vibrate back and forth. So if there's no electric arc, those tellurium metal alloy wires would vibrate so intensely and violently that if they weren't kept far apart, they would destroy each other, vibrating. Tellurium is used in alloys of steel to make high-strength conductors, abundant cosmically but rare on Earth. It's often found combined with gold. In the first gold rush, this mix looked like waste, so they used it to fill potholes or sidewalks. Once they realized that it was tellurium and gold, there was a second gold rush. Acute poisoning with tellurium is rare. Most organisms tolerate tellurium. Organic tellurides have antioxidant activities and can even be used to identify pathogens responsible for diphtheria. Its optical refraction makes it perfect for glass. It's been used in color ceramics and gives rubber heat resistance. In copper, iron, lead, or stainless steel, it makes the metals more machinable, improving solar cell efficiency and electric power generation, so it helps any energy. Any energy. Like the energy in this room. I don't know. Maybe that explains why we've been feeling this electricity in the air.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You'll like this one because you published it recently.
Oh, but yes, go ahead.
I'm good. Are you good?
I'm good. Sure.
Hey, this is called Dying to Live Reincarnation. Dying all the time. Waking up, breathing, taking in everything the universe has to offer, living each moment like a snowflake, experiencing every second of my tumbling and melting on the ground. New life as a drop of water, evaporation. New life as fog, returning to the clouds, dying all the time, collecting memories and lifetimes by the billion. As I pass from one life to the next, never seeing God, Goddess, Creator, Sun, Moon. This is the nature of things. Matter cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. Change waking up, sleep to awake, breathing, oxygen to CO2, in and out 100 lifetimes just by changing my mind. Universes of possibilities created and destroyed, dying all the time and living to tell the tale. Life to death, to life, to death, to life, to change, to death, to change, to live. In between heartbeats, in moments, knowing it will end. They say you have but one life, don't waste it. I have 1,000 a day. I probably waste them all. Such is the nature of change, dying all the time, but choosing life.
All right.
So I guess there should be a host coming up and saying, give it up one more time for...
Give it up one more time for
I'm opposed.
Jen and Buddha.
I vote
Should I say Buddha?
Let's give it up one more time for Bob Ratchka.
Now, should
should
I
talk-
divide this?
Oh, well, you can worry about that later, Angel.
All right.
Well, I was gonna say, oh, I should, oh,
There
oh,
we
jeez,
go.
please. I'll split it or
Should I
something.
keep- should I hold
What,
it?
we'll figure it out later. What is the schedule of upcoming features? Yes, I would, but I don't have the little thing,
Well,
because you're not.
Next week,
Next week,
Lynn.
Lucia Flynn happens to be the feature, which will be really double plus awesome, so I hope everybody comes out for that. Yeah, Lucia Flynn.
And August 5th, we've been waiting for the bus at 901 Bush Jackson. We've got Bill Yarrow and Pam Miller.
Oh, Bill Yarrow, that's
What
awesome.
time?
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday, 7:30,
Oh, yeah.
sign up, 8 o'clock showtime.
And where is that? Oh, the notebook's all the way in the thing. It's
Here we go.
if that one still's got it.
You want to say them?
Oh, sure, whatever, doesn't care. Oh my gosh, because August 14th, because we're not necessarily running every week, but it's going to be every other week, we've got Sid Yiddish for the features, and it's really awesome. No, it's Sid, that'll be awesome, trust me.
Yiddish.
Oh, wait a minute, what am I looking at? August 28th, Bob Moore's.
All
Yeah,
right.
Mr. Awesome Guy, yeah.
And while we're getting the plugs in, also checked on the 19th. Oddly enough, you couldn't see them tonight, but the Goods will be featuring at our show.
Yay, because there's one of them to be here this evening,
And
but...
on August 31st at Powell's Bookstore, the Poetry Pentacle.
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
Very cool.
And,
Well,
and
I'm-
Bob's featuring 4 days after we're going to be with Kathleen at the Bucktown Arts Fest, only 3 blocks from here at Holstein Park.
Very, very
Or this
cool.
Bob.
The Bob and Bob.
Oh, the Bob.
The Bob and Bob Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I happen to know of is August 28th, before the Bob Lawrence performance.
Yeah.
If anybody has free time at lunch,
The
Poetry Saloon at noon.
Saloon.
The Poetry Saloon at noon is going to be at the Selzer Library, and that one happens to be interviewing me. So if you want to know crap about me or poetry or stuff, there's also an open mic, and it's a really cool space at the Selzer Library, and that's at like the 4400 block of Lincoln, I believe. And if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it as of tomorrow or something on the lead page for info about it. And I've got nothing else, but I'm going to see you guys in a week. Other than this, my hair's been bugging me.
Let's
not
forget the Beach Poets.
I don't know the schedule for the Beach Boys because you never post anything.
it's every Sunday.
It's every Sunday, but I have no idea who hosts what or happens.
One or two more Sundays.
So if you find out, yes, go every Sunday, starting at 3 o'clock to Beach Boys and take a stab and guess at who it might be, because I don't know. Well, I mean, I talked to Kathleen in the middle of July. She's like, "You're featuring in a week and a half." I'm like, "I am. I don't know anything about a website or anything from you, so I don't get to hear about this stuff." So check out stuff for Beach Boys versus Loyola Beach. Check out his show because it's triple plus awesome. And come by next week for a very, very cool show. And thank you all so very much.